For this project, these are my 10 concepts of sociology. The first concept that I have is norms. Norms is defined as specific cultural expectations for how to behave in a given situation. The example that I have is talking on the phone while in a movie theater. Um, they're looking at her like that because obviously when you're in a movie theater, people expect for you not to talk. They expect you not to talk on the phone. So it's kind of like she's violating norms because, the expectation is when you're in a movie theater that you'll be quiet. The next concept I have is social sanctions. Social sanctions is defined as mechanisms of social control that enforce folkways, norms, and mores. Um, the example that I have for the picture, you can see obviously that the father is yelling at the little girl. And what I wrote is a positive sanction would be clapping for someone if they make a basket in a basketball hoop. A negative sanction would be yelling at someone if they did something wrong. And the picture below obviously shows a negative sanction. The next concept that I have is issues. Issues is defined as problems that affect large numbers of people and have their origins in the institutional arrangements and history of a society. The example that I have is incarceration. As of 2016, 2.3 million people were incarcerated in the United States. I'm using incarceration as an example because obviously this has affected a whole bunch of people. If incarceration just affected one person, then it would be troubles or trouble. But because of the fact that it's a widespread of people in the United States, it's an issue. The next one I have is culture. Culture is defined as a complex system of meaning and behavior that defines the way of life for a given group or society. The example that I have is celebrating birthdays by having a birthday party or having a birthday cake. I use this example because in some countries, some people don't celebrate birthdays at all. Um, and some people just don't celebrate birthdays at all. But in the United States, a part of our culture is that we celebrate birthdays for our loved ones or for our friends. The next one is culture shock. Culture shock is defined as the feeling of disorientation when one encounters a new or rapidly changed cultural situation. The example that I have is moving to a different state or country. The picture at the bottom is for the first picture. This is basically when the girl first gets to, her new place, new country. She says, "I love it here, fight on." And then in the second picture, it shows that no one understands me. Everything is so different. So now she's kind of like, I guess she's kind of fearful and it's kind of different where she's at. And then the last one says, "Oh, it's not bad here after all. I even kind of like it." So at that point, that's just really like acceptance. So that was, a culture shock for her. The next one that I have is subculture. Subculture is defined as the cultures of groups whose values and norms of behavior differ to some degree from those of the dominant culture. Um, the example that I have is punk fashion. Punk fashion. I use this example because when it comes to dominant culture, we tend to dress in a way that we think people will like the way we dress, and we kind of dress to some people kind of just to be approved by other people, and so people can think that oh, they look good or oh, they look cute. But with punk fashion, these people, they just primarily just you know care about how they dress, and they just wear whatever they want to wear regardless of what dominant culture is wearing. The next one that I have is ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism is defined as the habit of seeing things only from the point of view of one's own group. And the example is The Secret Life of the American Teenager. Basically, what I'm about to show is the girl, she finds out that she's pregnant, or she thinks that she's pregnant, and she's thinking about abortion.
Oh, and if you are pregnant with Ben's baby, then please don't tell him this weekend. His father's getting married and he's so happy right now.
Okay, can we just think about me here? I'm the one who'd be having the abortion, not happy Ben.
No, Adrian, that's not an option. I mean, you didn't get raped by some criminal or your father. You had consensual sex with a guy you like, a guy you're friends with. You have to step up and take responsibility here.
I am taking responsibility here. But I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. I am not having.
Okay, so I use this example because Grace, that's the blonde hair girl, and Adrienne is the brown hair girl. Grace thinks that Adrienne shouldn't get an abortion primarily because of the fact that she is very religious, and she doesn't think that abortion is right. So she's kind of, she's not being very supportive of Adrian because she feels as though she shouldn't get an abortion. And she says, "Oh, you weren't raped by a criminal or your father or something like that." So she thinks just because she wasn't raped, she thinks that she shouldn't need to get an abortion. So she's only saying it from her, from the point of view of her own group, from her religious group, that if you, how do I say it? Because of the fact that you weren't raped, then you need to have this baby. The next one, the next one that I have is deviance. Deviance is defined as behavior that violates expected rules or norms. The example that I have is stealing or breaking into houses or cars. It is formal deviance, which is behavior that breaks laws or official rules. So obviously this is breaking into someone's car is obviously deviant because, it does break the law. You're not supposed to steal, you're not supposed to commit any type of theft. So this is a deviant behavior. The next one, I think it might be the last one, but I don't know. The next one that I have is social institution. Social institution is defined as established and organized systems of social behavior with a particular and recognized purpose. And the example that I have is prison, medicine, education. I just use the example of prison because, let me see, because it says social behavior with a particular and recognized purpose. So the recognized purpose for a prison is to lock up criminals, and criminals are people who have broken the law. So prison is a recognized this is why a prison is a social institution, because of the purpose is to keep criminals off the street. Okay, I think this one's actually my last one. Socialization agents. Socialization agents are people or sources or structures who pass on social expectations. The examples that I have are family, media, peers, religion, sports, and school. And I use the image below. That's obviously, well, not obviously, but that's a guy teaching his son how to drive a car. So I use this image because it's a social expectation that that people learn how to drive. Because if you want to go anywhere, if you don't want to have to take the bus or have to ask people for rides or things like that, then you kind of got to learn how to drive so you can get your license and start driving. So it's a social expectation that at a certain age that people do learn how to drive. So the father is passing, he's a socialization agent because he's passing on um this social expectation and teaching his son how to drive. And that's it. And these are my 10 concepts of socialization.